done more better than those who came from ruling party in terms of what we have done. And if you remember, the first thing that was the biggest challenge to our people was the Umuchima gully erosion. And with that painting word, those who were there before us did not do anything. Rather, they were the one who destroyed the place and looted the money. And we were signing contracts from Ubele Street, contracts that never touch our land. Today, if you go to that or south, it's the biggest emerging erosion disaster in Southeast today. Simply because people just, in order to take money, opened roads that were not necessary and never finished it. And today the communities are going. And tomorrow we'll start shouting as if somebody did it to us. Nobody did it to us. We did it to ourselves. So, but at the same time, you still see such people still making noise. Because we operate in a society where people have no shame. You say number 5 Ubele Street, and you signed up jobs of over $50 million with the name of your people. And your people never saw one. That which you couldn't do when you were there and have access to those kind of money. Is it in house already you want to do it? So the first thing we did was to beg the ruling party, especially the president, working with one of our brothers, they call it Ifani, Rockstar, who runs contracts for Abia governor, that does most of those jobs, Governor Oti does. And he uses connection and friendship that we share with Dave Umahi to convince the president to include in the budget the erosion project. But the initial money they did then was about 2 billion, which was not enough to do the job. So he continued, and we were able to get the president to agree to appropriate 26 billion naira for the place. Now, even when the job was not been funded, if I moved to site, some of you who were there with me a couple of times, we came there to start filling the place. I think we're about a week or so to posting it to the market when the state government now wrote a letter to the Ministry of Works asking that the state government wants to take over the project. Even before the Ministry of Works agreed, they already moved their people to site. And it was trying to turn to something that looked like crisis. And I told the contractor, very painful, because you know how painful it can be that you fight your way, do some back arrangement, and you got government to approve 26 billion naira for a job, and you are being told to leave that place. So they wanted to fight it out. But bigger reason has to come, and what is that bigger reason? I pleaded with him. Yes, I know why the man wants to take it, but it doesn't matter. What our people want is that the road should be done. It's not about was it Ikenga that did it or was it who that did it. It was there for over 6 years. It was there, so we never thought about doing it. Rather, he was telling people it's because I'm fighting him. That's why he will not do it. But on our own, we're able to get federal government to start it. And I said, if we people go and fight federal government contractor and state government contractor, then we can go mad. At the end of the day, the job will not be done. I return back to blame me that it's me that destroyed it. Actually, yes, he has spent money, but move out from the site. Let him take over. So we don't fight. I get it. We are not going to destroy what you have already built, because they are pipe. For people from Umuchima who always go down there with me whenever I visit, they've almost done a place for the first vehicle to cross. So he took over. And as God will have it, because he knows that we're also monitoring it, he has continued to do the work. And we appreciate him for that. But what made me talk about it is for you to understand what effective and capacity-driven representation can bring to a people. And we thank God with that project is almost nearing completion. So we thank the federal government that started it first, and we thank the state government that is also working on it as well. And also use this opportunity to keep appealing. It's not only the ones who go and discover that they will come and do, because they have been in office for 7 years. You married from me that on. So if there's anybody who should benefit more, it should be the people who are your in-laws. It doesn't require me to fight with you or go to Abuja to get it for you to come and take over from me. So it should be that you're the one that finished it. Then on your own, what do you want to do for those people that you married from? There's no other project existing in our land. The local government is not doing schools, they're not doing what, they're not doing anything. And they're receiving over 500 million naira every month. So a place that have received over 20 billion in the last few years cannot boast of one brand new primary school. So, and now today, the one that lives to his wife's location, from Umeshi, Amanato, Isekelesi to Dikanafaya, is a death trap. Yes, our brother failed in not doing it, which was a big shame. We ought to have done it. There's no reason why we should not have done it. So we failed in that one. But now that also God was so kind, we have an in-law. What your brother cannot give you, your in-law can also give you. That do the road that leads to your wife's place. So that at least when you leave, people from either outside can have a road to go home. Because the place is so bad, you can't even pass it. When there the other day, with little rain, it was messy. So I can just imagine bigger rain. People are going to be falling into that place. Yes, we have moved the motion for that one. We are written to the Ministry of Works. We are going to the HGF. We are working on seeing if we can get it, approved. But it's more faster when the government that have executive power, they have access to the money, takes it over, so that people can have a place. So some of you that also in their party, being in their party should come with an advantage. And that advantage should be that the road that leads to his wife's place should be completed before he leaves office. Then also, so as you're already aware, to update to people that when we came, we started from 2023 our scholarship scheme. In 2023 phase 1, we did 100 students from primary to tertiary level. In 2024 phase 2, we did 130 additional students. In 2025, we did 150 students, both from primary to tertiary. So the beneficiaries to date now is over 380 data science and others. So I will continue. Then, in terms of infrastructure, we discovered that most of the communities didn't have water. Even though those ones existing in some communities were either individual effort or community efforts. So we now agree that before we leave office, that we're going to make sure that every autonomous community in Idato gets access to water. Yes, that may not solve the problem, but it's a way of doing something to a situation that is already bad. And then we said we're not going to commission them because we're not more interested in the form fed. We said we're going to leave them, let people be using it. If people use them for 2 years, 3 years, and they are working, then it means it's working very well. Then we can commission it. Because we don't want to just go like people before me did. They will paint things, commission it, leave, and it's not working. I want it to work because I have passion for it. And that's why most of the communities are already using their own. Some that have generator issue, we change to solar. So we keep finding whatever is the problem, we keep changing it so that at the end of the day, by the time we are ready to commission them before the end of this year, there's a project that is already running and performing. That's why all the schools and everything say they should start using them until by the time we come, we can paint them that moment and commission. So even if we are not in office, people can be able to keep using it. And the completed ones we have done, Umoji, CC, KNSU, or Idatosa, the water has been completed and they are using it. Umucheke community in Umobum, Idatosa completed. Then the Umopia water project, Umuke Umopia water completed. Umezemazu community, Uruala, and Ozu completed. Nduiche community, Izobo Ward 1 completed. Umeshi community, Amanatu Umeshi Ward, Idatosa completed. The water scheme in the Ekuliaka community, Oboduko Ward, that one was completed. The Chueke one completed. The water scheme in Aqua community, Aqua completed. The water scheme in Ozoakale community, that one not completed. The Umapara water project, that one not completed. The Umago community, that was completed. The Umumisha water, that was completed. The Aquawanta, that one not completed. Umuakam community, that was not completed. Oboluku, that was not completed. Oshina community, that was not completed. Umuaobe, that was not completed. These are the ones that are fully completed. Then the ones that are working on right now, which, as you are aware, was slowed it, was that the entire 2025 budget was not funded, which some of you that are contractors know the problem. And part of the issues we discussed today. The president brought a new borrowing plan and said that if the borrowing plan is approved, he can be able to fund these projects. So we hope that this time around, that those projects are funded. So, but even with federal government not yet funding, our contractors have also moved to site because we have good relationship with them and they believe in us. That's why they are moved to sites for some of those projects, even though they are not being funded. Then Diken Afire, Idatosat ongoing, Isiokpo Idatonot ongoing, Umezala Oboko mobilization ongoing, Ndi Moko Idatonot mobilization ongoing, Ejeze Izuok mobilization ongoing, Awala Idatosat mobilization ongoing. These are the ones that are ongoing. But if the budget is funded by God's grace as we are hoping, the next ones that have been lined up, which once they get funding, they should be able to move to those locations, are Umezaga, St. Andrew Anglican Ndi Okwere, Obiohia, Umulewe, Amuishiak, Umezalo Boko, Omaloma, Omoyinebu, Jeze Izog, Oboko Asian Kingdom, Isieke in Ezekenesi, Uzi, Obweza, Umukeku Civic Center. I put the one in my community to be among the last. Owera Kokwa, Uzu Piopoduku, Umumo Boduku, Ubele, Umudura Horomo, Amanato, India Demoha, and then Umaka Market. These are the ones that, if by God's grace, we got off from this funding issue. These are the ones that should come. Then, as you're already aware, our light-up projects, I don't need to tell you people about it, because some of you who come home can see greater part of Idato also have benefited greatly from the solar light project. Working with our brother that does job in NDDC, Kenches, from the NDDC angle, we were able to do about 400 or thereabouts, which he did. But then from the federal government, in terms of our constituency project, and the ones we got from appropriation and our friends, we have been able to do 3,000 plus. And those 3,000 plus that we have done, you can find them around St. Aloysius Catholic Church Road, or Umobom, Idato South, Ezedike Village, Umobom, Bonus Pastor Seminary School Road, Usina, Dimago, Isiekenesi, Okohia, Isiekenesi, parts of Ubele, Umezala, Oboko, Oboza, Idato South, Amanato, Idato South, Owerakokwa, Idato North, Apo, Idato North, Umezaga, Idato North, Uzi, Idato North, Olu Road, Umokebu, Idato North, Oruala, Idato North, Osina Market, Idato North, St. Barnabas Primary School Field, Idato North. And we're hoping that with funding that we're expecting to also come, we'll be able to do those other communities that we're not been able to reach. Then in terms of our education intervention, when we came, we discovered that almost all the schools are done in bad condition. The roofs are leaking. Everybody had the same complaint from their community. And so painful, without condemning anybody, but if it's something that is bad, you say, my primary responsibility is a lawmaker. Let's not forget about that. I was elected to represent and to make law. And there are people who are empowered for projects and access to the purse of the public. And that's where you have the president, the governor, and the local government chairman. And the least the local government can do is to fix schools. How much will it take to renovate those schools? But these guys we left here, all they know is how to shout the name of the governor, as if it's an achievement. If we shout the name of the governor 100 times, but if that thought did not get one street light police, that's stupid. With all due respect to them. Because people cannot eat that nonsense you are shouting. They have local government chairman in 2 local government that have not put one pole, have not put one transformer, cannot get school built, and the whole place is looking so tattered. The markets are in bad shape. But if it is talking again, you open your mouth talking nonsense. Is it Ikenga that is the governor? Is it Ikenga that is local government chairman? Is it Ikenga that is your House of Assembly? At least you can see the things I'm doing. So why not get other people to do something? At least do something. We elected 2 people in the House of Assembly. Is he alive? But the only thing they do is to share happy birthday of governor's wife. Is that why you send them there? Is that what we send them there? So loyalty to this individual now equates to your representation. Your House of Assembly does not sit. You go to bed every day sleeping. They don't sit. They don't do anything. Then you cannot even do one small solar light for your people. You can't even speak for your people. But if it is to come to destroy our billboard, is that an achievement? So every day I face unnecessary attack from people who are supposed to bow their head in shame for stealing the people's money. I'm not boasting. If I'm a governor today, Idato don't need to be told what needs to be done. So, in terms of our school intervention, already now we have done 10 schools have been renovated and some newly constructed, and then over 1,000 school decks that have been supplied. Then the county school, Akwa, have been completed. The students are using it now. The comprehensive secondary school laboratory block in Omumisi Akidato Sat is completed, and they are using it now. The technical school, we did one block classroom in Omo Okwara, completed, they are using it now. The secondary school block rehabilitation is already completed. Then the central school around this completed. Then the central school, Amazo, Epa Pota, right? Yeah. Okay, around this completed. That's the one the comedian showed in his video that was in bad shape. We'll also review that one. Then the community primary schools, that one are completed. The students are using it now, and we'll also put new decks for them there. Then the central school, moreover, that one is also completed. Then we have done the renovation of the Umudike Primary School, completed. We also done the renovation of Abokwa Central Primary School, which has also been completed. Then it's part of, this one is even part of the 2025 budget that have not been paid, but the contractor took the risk of completing, hoping that they will pay. We pray they get to pay them. Solar mini grid installation at St. Peter's Secondary School. We work with the appropriation chairman to install alternative source of power for our gears who are schooling in the Anglican junior rates in St. Peter's School. That is already completed and the students are using it now. Then we have done the supply of 1,000 school desks to primary and secondary school. The remaining one we are going to already have arrived at Kopan, so very soon we'll do the distribution. Then in terms of our intervention on electricity projects, what we have done is that we have done 500 kVA transformer to Obodu, installed and also completed. We have done 500 kVA transformer for Abubuwa, installed, completed. We have also done 500 kVA transformer for Umuopiakokwa, Embeha, the road leading to the Iba hospital. They're already using it. And then we have done the 10 kVA solar powered mini grid system for the Anglican convent at St. Peter's Anglican Church, Umuokwa. Then, in terms, the other ones is being held because of this funding problem. We just hope that the government will fund their budget so that these people can get the other communities on immediately. Then, in terms of the economic projects, we did the reconstruction of part of the food market, 3 blocks of 10 open sheds, 30 sheds total, which you are aware have been completed for some of you from Ruala. Now we did the new open stores in the Kobo market, which is also completed. Then the Songhai Farms Agriculture Empowerment Program, where we sent 66 Idato indigenous who are trained in modern farming techniques. That people they have also done their back. What we're now waiting that they were doing empowerment, we now give them financial support to be able to. Some of them have actually started farming. Then the normal youth empowerment initiative, the motorcycle, the tricycle, some of those things have also arrived. As a matter of fact, some weeks or months ago, the speaker gave us 30 brand new bags, which is also for distribution to our people. That have also arrived at Kopa. So we'll do a ceremony with that and the ones we have before to give to our people. Then also the cash transfer, which that one is not within my control, but we're able to get over 200 data indigenous into the scheme. Some have received the 50,000 that the federal government is paying, but it looks like they stopped paying or something. But when they were paying, some people got their own alert. These ones are not within my control, but our people also benefited from it. Then in terms of other infrastructure and erosion projects, as you are aware, we are constructing the 1.2 kilometer drainage channel erosion control in Ruala around those communities. The road was about cutting when they called us. And you know, it was for 2025 budget. But if we wait for 2025 budget to be funded, this rainy season will cut the road. And those people from Rural will not have double problem. They already dealing with the problem of the big erosion, and now they have to deal with this one. So I beg the contractor, even though the government is not funded, to move to site. And it's almost nearing completion of the 1.2 kilometer drainage. Then at also, that will connect our food Ruala to Urashi River. So what is doing there, when I visited there, they are trying to take the water straight into Urashi River so that it can move by that gutter they are doing there. and then the Umuchima one, which the state government has taken over. Then in also health infrastructure, the things we have been able to do. The rehabilitation and remodeling of Umobon Primary Health Center is currently ongoing as we speak now. And then also the reconstruction of Umaka Community Hall is also ongoing, I think on the second floor now. Then another one that is of particular importance and so dear to me, most of you remember Osina Community General Hospital was a beacon of medical redemption for our people over the years. Over time, it went down. But then when I went there, I saw how bad it was, especially the main buildings and so on and so forth. So we put it in 2025 budget, but unfortunately it cannot be funded. But the fortunate thing is that the contractor decided to take the risk. It's almost nearing completion of the remodeling the hospital. So once that's done, then we'll bring in equipment. But the last time I visited the site, they are done with roofing now. I think they're doing the inside because they were worried so that the rain does not beat some of the equipment that is exposed. So we are remodeling the Oshina Community General Hospital. So upon completion, these health facilities will help to add value to our people's health. Then back to the business for which I was elected mainly, which is motion bills, petitions, and lawmaking. So on the floor, as you're already aware, the last time the Parliament watchdog here rated me among the highest, that have the highest bill and motions from Southeast, from Imo, and then second is South. So we have over 49 bills that have been sponsored, 13 motions, 18 petition led. So that stands us out as one of the best in terms of people from the minority bench that have been effective in pushing issues of legislative development away from the people. Now, apart of some of those things which you're already aware that we are doing, I was the first person to start the issue of amendment of the constitution for the creation of state, if you remember very well. It was my bill on Olu State that opened the floodgate of multiple state creation agitation that led to different versions that came on to be. So, and when we met at the level of status, I said, let's go with one. To me, it's not about, just like we had that issue on Ugochinyere Unveils, and I say it's not about me. It doesn't matter who completes it. What the people want is to run on that road. And I guess everybody running on that road is not happy that that road is there. So and I said, if we continue to drag, it must be my own. They will not make any headway. Then let all of us in the Southeast unite and go with one. And that was why when no citizen also approached me to sign up for the Anim State. The only thing I asked was, what would be the place of Idato? Because in what I pushed earlier, Idato was to be a senatorial district with 2 federal constituency and 4 local governments. So we agreed in principle, because not yet time to include that in the paper, so normally we would have included that before we signed. But we agreed honorably that there would be a senatorial zone that Idato and either Nkwere or Wangele, who are our neighbors, I get me, will join us. So, but the capital will be Uruala, which is our normal capital. So that was what we agreed. I also agreed that 2 federal constituencies will be created out of the existing Idato federal constituency. So that we agreed with him before I now said, okay, I will now collapse the Olu State agitation into their name state, so that all of us can go together. And we took that to the level of Southeast when there was voting, mobilize our people. Attorney that is here and Peter also supported greatly. And Anim State emerged as the preferred state by Southeast. So that's how the entire Southeast lawmakers came to the conclusion that we go with Anim State. And that agitation is still on, even though there's a proposal to merge us with Anioma and the dispute here and there, but we're still parting on it that if we must merge with anybody, the idea of additional state is for Igbos to have one more state. It's not about our brothers across the other side. Yes, it will give us joy for our brothers across the other side to have a state or journey, but the capital must remain in Southeast. Or if it must be that side, that place must be classified as the Southeast region, not South region. Or else it will be like we're throwing it away. So if it must be merged, but that's how the idea of Animoma came to be. Even though some people from Anyama is opposing it, that they want an Anyoma state with capital in Asaba, because they already have Asaba as a capital in Delta. So they cannot live there and come to Southeast and stay. And there's argument to what they are say. So if we don't resolve, it means that everybody will continue to hold on to what they already have, which is we continue to go with our name state. And the whole state creation is about giving Igbos one more state. So it must be a state that is its capital is in Igbo land, possibly or no. So we're working on that, and by God's grace, we believe that this will come to be so that our people can have their own states. Then also, the issue of 6 years single presidential term or election in one day, you saw the agitations we went through, but we're still continuing that agitation to ensure that we have such. And then the bill to classify the geopolitical zones and recognize them. And then financial autonomy, water and concurrent lease, same-day election, interpretation act, land use act amendments, constitution alteration bill for INEC to conduct local government election, location of voting in area deemed unsafe, electoral act amendment, political restructuring bill, and several additional constitutional alteration bills that were also moved. And then also some of our constituency focused bill includes our National Children's Hospital in Ida or Imo State establishment bill. It's a hospital dedicated for children who deserve best health care. We are going for second reading. No, we're going for second reading. I think it's not we're going now. Then the National Hospital for Women in Ida or Imo State establishment bill. This one has passed second reading. So we're also going for third reading, which is the last. Then the Federal College of Education, Imo State establishment bill, to bring more federal institutions and access to education to our people. That has also gone second reading. Then we have the Abaliko Federal University of Education establishment bill. Was the one that co-sponsored the bill that made Abaliko the Federal University of Education. That has also been signed by the President. Then, so in Petroleum and Economic Reform Bill, the Petroleum Industry Act amendment bill is ongoing. The NATI amendment bill is also ongoing. The JAM Act amendment bill ongoing. The Federal Highway Act amendment bill ongoing. The Federal Road Safety Act ongoing. Service Establishment Bill ongoing, and other multiple versions of amendment in the electoral act is ongoing. Then some of the motions that were also moved that were key is the motion to reconstruct the Obanere Oga Akokwa Rolizok Federal Road, which is getting attention. The motion to rehabilitate the Akokwa Muchimangbe Road, which got attention. The motion to investigate the arbitrary petrol price increase from 5.37 to 6.17 that time, which was also done. The motion to receive the Native Oil and Gas Industry report, which I was the first to ever lay since the enactment of that law. Then the motion on fraudulent depletion of the crude oil proceed by NNPC official. A motion to restructure and rationalize federal government parastatals, which the federal government is already implementing by trying to match some of the agencies. The solution to gully erosion in data communities, which we are still following up, covering Isi Ekenesi, Uruala, Oboduku, Umesha, Manata, Kokwa, and Arontizo. And then the motion to deploy armored personal carrier to Mokpo base and also to enforce the military base in Arontizo, which the one in Arontizo has gotten more reinforcement. We are hoping they will do the other one. And then the motion for deep sea port construction at Onitsha and Asaba. And then motion to ensure IOC comply with NUPRC decommissioning regulation, which the NUPRC has set up a template for. And then the motion for legislative forensic investigation of downstream and midstream petroleum, and motion on climate change. And then some of the petitions were also championing the Futo staff IP's failure to be captured by the Federal University workers into the payment platform. The Airport Traders Association, unjust relocation and denial of right of occupancy, which the FCT have resolved, and I think they have moved them to a new location. And then also the issue of what I call Enugu Calabar Abuja standard gauge line, calling for the House intervention on that. And then the issue of police brutality and human rights abuses. Then the Bank of Industry seizure of Ashford 327 industrial machine. Ashford is from Idaho North. We've been able to do that. And Matthew, who is also deputy chairman of petition, helped us, and the House has come to a conclusion that Bank of Industry should pay him how much again?
Whatever he was requesting.
I think about 600 million or something. So once that document CTC is out from here, what are possible will help him to pursue that. and then also other petitions that were also left. Now, so let me not bore you on most of the things we have also done in terms of all these legislative stuff, because there are a lot of them. But also, I co-sponsored with my colleagues the bill for the establishment of the Southeast Development Commission, which has also been signed into law by the president, and they have started work, even though they have not been fully funded. So, and 4 of the people that we gave, were able to negotiate for Federal Revenue Service has gotten the job, except one person from me that have not been able to capture. One of them already now have been made a deputy manager of NFIRS also. So, sorry for the long talk, but this me and you people see for the first time officially. I wanted to use that as an opportunity to talk about some of the things we are doing. But today is not time for politics, so I'm not asking for anything. But all I'm saying is thank you for trusting me. Thank you for electing me. And I always tell people, I was not just elected. I was elected from SI. So that means my people are very strong and passionate about sending me. That is the only reason why, while I'm on the run, they can choose to vote, count, defend, and get it announced. So I don't know of any federal constituency in Nigeria that the lawmaker was elected while he's president. So that's why when they do all those when they sponsor that attack, it does not bother me, because our power did not come from there. God used you people to send me. And the very day I forget that, then I've lost. So that's why I say I'm not joining them, because power cannot come from them. Some of them that were there and they were on ground, did they win? No. They won one pulling it out of 349. One, they won. The governor's wife lost her place. All the commissioners lost their place. So it can only be God speaking through the people. So if I start bothering about will I be interested in second term, will I join it, these things are nonsense. I'm not. Until I'm done with the work you send me to do. Then we'll sit down and decide, do I want to contest? If I want to contest, I ask my people, are you ready to do what you did before? Because if you're not ready to do it, there's no need taking wasting my time. Because it's only a people that is determined that can get it to be done again. Because the wolves are gathering again like they did before. But nobody's talking about you want to seek elected position. The one you have, what did you do? If you're in the House of Assembly, what did you do in your place? If you have gone to House of Rep before, what did you do when you went to House of Rep? So what did you do when you were working in an executive position and had access to resources that could have helped our people? Rather, you created Ugbele Street that is not existing, and then you took out millions of dollars from your people. So I want to thank you people for coming to share the afternoon with us here. And I want to also thank my colleagues who came to be with us. The only thing I can say now is that I have left PDP. I'm officially a member of the Action People's Party. I've declared the leader around 7 January. And today on the floor of the Parliament, I have also cross-cabineted. I think the meeting will go today because today is symbolic. Today is the day I'm taking the mandate I was given in PDP by people, and I'm crossing to AB. And I said there's no other better day to share the afternoon with my people than the day we're making this historic decision that we cannot stay there any longer. Because nobody will be proud of what Nigerianpolitics has turned PDP into. If you want to work for the president, there's no problem with that. But why do you destroy a whole institution to do that? And we felt having challenged it, if we stay there, it will destroy us if we want to seek any position. So the best thing is to stay away from their trouble, because all of you know what we passed through when we were looking for the ticket in the first one. PDP disqualified us a few days from that. They brought us back again, took us back to court, went to Supreme Court. A lot of things happened that nobody should want us to go through that road again. So it is better and cheaper that we go to a political party that we all formed, that is owned by us. Our national chairman is here, and our state chairman is our brother, Njesi, who is also from Idato. So that gives us control and peace of mind. So if we say we want to run election today, we're already a candidate. So we'll now face general election issues. So when that time comes, we decide on what we should do. And our brother also, Honorable Mighty Representative Ngwakwa, also find our party safe for him. That's why he did come today to join us in APP. So we'll also be praying and supporting him that he wins his re-election as a member of the House of Rep if he decides to contest. And I have no regrets going to APP. And make no mistake, APP is one of the most safest political parties. Do not mind Akondin Keta. First of all, if APP is not safe, there's no way. The Federal High Court, we have some of the little boys going to go and sue us. The judge that is hearing that their case is the judge who delivered the judgment that APP cannot be registered. But because they don't have patience to read, they like to make them. They don't even know that the court where they are, it is the court that have decided the matter. And while I was coming in here, our lawyers just called me that the appeal court still has also affirmed that APP cannot be registered. So we have come past those noise. APP is safe and sound. So I thank you all for coming. And also let me use this opportunity. I discussed my brother Matthew and Peter when we were coming on our national chairman. And the party took a position to plead with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on one thing, that now that peace is returning to status, thanks to the effort of what the army and the DSS is doing. We won't deny that fact. That if the army have not come to our position, we will not be doing by now. I must also appreciate the army all the time. That's why I take time to always go there to spend time with them. What they did from that place is the reason why some of us can come for Christmas. And it's the reason why some of us still go home till today. I'm working with DSS that have given them margin. What the DSS, the other time they killed two of the DSS guys. They have lost people in that fight. But the DSS and their leadership is unrelenting in supporting our people in terms of providing intelligence that is helping in that operation. And the police and the civil defense can go to those joint operations. While they are sleeping, they are combing those forests that are doing those joint operations up to the JCS side. All those areas now are opening up and people are coming back home because it's safe. But let us not forget that there's God that made it possible through the physical effort on the ground of our soldiers and the DSS people. And that's why I always want us to always appreciate. No security agency in the world is perfect, but we in India must always appreciate the DSS and the police and the army for the wonderful work they have done that have made our land very safe. And it's on that ground that I would also want to appeal to the president to consider political solution to the issue of Mazi Nandika. As a political party, we believe strongly that consolidating this peace will be faster when it's also released, so that other pending issues can be resolved, so that nobody will go and shoot somewhere and say it's because somebody is being held somewhere. The powers to grant knowledge rest with the president under section 174 thereabouts of the constitution. So all the president needs to do is even to discontinue the case. He doesn't need to, what he needs is to invoke the presidential powers to issue pardon, and then issue pardon unconditionally, and then let him go back home. And it will be to his credit to be the one that ended the nightmare that Buhari's unforgiving spirit put us into. So we are appealing I'm calling on President Bola Ahmed to continue in that line what his security agencies have been doing in our place itself, to now move forward to release Mazin Nandekan by issuing the necessary presidential proclamation and pardon to free Mazin Nandekan so that we can return back to our people and peace building and reconciliation can now be completed. And all those pending issues that leads to this agitation in terms of marginalization can also be better addressed. The show of good faith is in letting Mazin Nandekan go by giving him presidential pardon. And I can tell you when you do that, I will appreciate it. Our people will appreciate it greatly. So on that note, I say thank you, Umunne, for coming. God bless you.